Hey, Marv, back in the game. Do you know what we haven't said on the podcast, I don't think?
What?
That you've been promoted.
Have we not?
We
No.
might have done.
No, and we wouldn't.
What do you know?
Client success manager / head of client success, which somebody actually said to me the other day, head sounds better now.
Too late now. Well, actually, you haven't signed the contract.
Well, I have signed it, I just haven't given it back to you.
Oh, that's great. I just want to give you the promotion till the 5th of June then. So, yeah. What's got you to that? How's this happened? You've only been here 4 years.
Yeah, 4 for 4, that is.
Four promotions in 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. What have you done? Assistant, executive, senior exec, manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
It slows down now. It slows down now, yeah. Just going to ask for pay rises, but not the title. That's fine. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I actually referenced in the last podcast about stuff I was doing marketing before I came to CodeBreak that I thought was good, and the compared to what I know now is night and day. Night and day. And I do not have a marketing degree. We've had people work here with a marketing degree. I don't think they're as good as me.
Ethan might be.
Might be, yeah, but he's just a baby. I mean, though,
Bless
like,
him.
yeah.
No.
It's crazy, but things are moving so quickly. We actually had a client who taught marketing in a university, and she didn't have a clue, which is terrifying. Terrifying that you pay that much to go to uni and your lecturer.
So many different. It's like saying like.
I guess the fundamentals.
And yeah, the fundamentals obviously really, really important, but also there's so many different areas of marketing. Like we're performance marketers. We're looking at like money in, money out, ad performance, funnel performance, landing page performance, website performance. There are marketers out there that are like classed as strategic marketers, and they're looking at company positioning, brand psychology.
I saw an amazing ad for I think it was Puma or Nike. It was to the song "I was gonna go to work, but then I got high." Because it's like capitalizing on like the runner's high, right? It's like they're all like running. I was gonna walk my dog. He's like running with the dog. I just thought that's sick. I looked at. I was like, Jace, this is a sick advert. He's like, I don't got it. I was like, oh well, maybe you're not the target audience.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was like how. Again, I'm jumping without any context. I was thinking like, is anybody realistically gonna watch that ad and buy the Puma trainers that they were selling? No. But am I brand aware? Yes.
Yeah, and if they weren't doing that, would they fall from being, I mean, I would say trainer-wise, Nike are like the market leaders, and then you've got like Puma, Adidas around, like up there. If one of those stops doing brand awareness, they fall away.
When I was in school, Puma was not cool, man.
So Puma was really specialist when I was at school. Like Puma King football boots were like really good football boots, but they were like a bit old school at the same time. And then Nike football boots were a bit fancy, and I always felt like I'd break my feet wearing them.
I don't know if were they Adidas, maybe the black ones that looked really old school with the white stripes.
Copa Mundials.
Yeah.
Or Copa Americas.
That's what I liked them. They looked like Vans. I was into Vans at the time.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, they do have that kind of like old school.
And they were sturdy. I saw so many toes go through those Nike
Tiempos.
Yeah, specifically the pink ones. Yeah. All my friends had.
Yeah, I didn't. Because the thing is, I mean, I don't know what this has got to do with what we're about to talk about, but the consumer model that you buy off the shelf is not the same as the ones that the people are wearing professionally.
You are.
So you can buy the professional model, but it'll be like 250 quid. At my school, there was a few kids that would have those, but most parents were buying the ones that look like those but are 40 quid. Now, it's no surprise that you get 2-foot tackle on you and your toes start hanging out your cheap, colourful boots. So I was always like, and I always had like random ones like Lotto or Puma, like the sturdier boot. But like, I don't know. I always think it's a bit weird if you're like playing on like a meadow, like running through mud. You just need some like solid boots.
And the stud is literally going into
your. So fucking old now. I sound
on a
like
meadow.
my granddad used to sound talking about my football. He's like, oh, in my day, we just kicked a pig's bladder around. Like, right.
Puma's actually like really in my. They've like a line. Maybe they're partnered with Hyrox and like all the Hyrox stuff.
I
is
got some
Puma.
cool Puma trainers.
Have you?
You've seen them?
Have I?
They're in a pizza box.
I don't think I've seen them.
You've definitely seen them.
I haven't seen the pizza box for sure.
You've not seen my pizza box? It's here.
Is it? Okay. I'd like
You
to
want to know about them?
Yeah.
They're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Puma trainers.
I definitely haven't seen these.
What? Do you want to know something else?
What?
They're not in my size. Do you want to know why? Because my size sold out in about 3 minutes when these came out. And they like go for thousands on eBay now. But if I buy a size 3 that I can never wear but I can look at, I got them for like 50 quid.
So they're going to be just...
So they come in an actual pizza box, and then inside they come with all the little metal tassels of different turtles things to put on the laces.
Would you wear them even if they were in your size?
They're fucking cool. I'll show you after. You'll be like, actually.
Do you know anyone who's a size 3?
No, but my nephew will be.
At some point in his life?
Yeah, and they're classic turtles, so they're not going to age. So it could be that I hold on to these for like, I don't know, 5 years. And then I'll be like, I bought these 5 years ago with you in mind. Or they just stay on the shelf in there.
Yeah, do you think you'd appreciate a 6-year-old is going to be like...
He's going to like turtles.
Yeah, but...
He likes dinosaurs.
I've
I've covered that off.
Yeah, but you'll just wreck them and you'll be heartbroken.
I'll buy another pair. Apparently size 3 is how you get them cheap.
Yeah, you can have as many as he wants.
Well, I can believe it, because they were like literally, they were 120 quid at release. I got a voucher for the Puma website and could get them for 50. But the ones in my size on eBay were like 920 quid. And I was like, well, this is fucking brilliant. And they came with like stickers and all sorts of shit.
You know, like the people who get those are like touts, right? What's that called? Chicket tout?
Yeah, scalpers.
But it's not. It's bots, isn't it, that are doing it for them?
Yeah.
Surely we can build one of them.
I don't think
just
it's
for
high
my
on my
own
priority
personal
list.
use.
That's some great segue, Marth. I was worried that we were 7 minutes in and not... What's the mission is the title of this podcast. How on earth is us building a scalping bot for trainers part of our mission?
What about a scalping bot for gigs, though, that we could get good gig tickets and gift them
to clients
or ourselves?
I've got good gig tickets this year.
Yeah, where are you going?
I'm going to see Linkin Park later this month at Wembley.
Sick. And Will Smith?
I'm going to see Will Smith at Wolverhampton University. I mean, what a fall from grace that is. Like, that is fucking ridiculous.
He probably doesn't know how much of a fall from grace. He's not going to have a clue.
Never done a
where
world
Wolverhampton
tour, and he's waited till his 50s, even though in the 90s he was massive. And he could have sold out stadiums in the 90s. And then...
Maybe he doesn't want to.
He's playing Wolverhampton Civic.
Maybe he wants to see you in the eyes.
I don't want him to look me in the eyes. I'm a bit torn on this because I'm fairly sure he's a weirdo.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
I'm worried he's mates with Diddy.
Yeah, is it sold out?
When he plays Miami, that's a banger. So
yeah, he probably didn't write it though.
I think he did. I think he was involved in the writing.
Is he from Miami?
No, he's from Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where I spent most of my days.
Was that not just for the show though?
I think that's where he's from too.
Oh, okay. Is he sold?
Because
out?
he plays himself in the show. He's Will in the show.
I've not really watched
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, right, Mark. Point out my age.
So,
they remade
what's Codebreak's mission?
You tell me.
Help people have fun.
Nope. Well, kind of. It's our mission statement. Our mission, I think. Well, what's our mission? Like, what's our mission this year? Begins with a 2, and the second word is million.
Yeah.
Because there's different missions. Like,
what are you talking about specifically for this podcast title that we've not spoken anything about, but we have spoken about?
Yeah,
Diddy.
What I'm talking about is, does everyone in the team know what the mission is? Now, you might be playing daft, that there is a poster on the wall in that room with all the different goals for this year that lead to the mission. All the things we need to tick off to hit the mission.
And bribes.
And bribes to help you do it. But if your team doesn't know what the mission is and why that's the mission, guess what? You ain't fucking getting there.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. Like, in the last podcast, we were talking about professionalizing your business, maturing your business. There's so many businesses that exist to exist, which is fine. I get that. Like, you've got bills to pay. I'm a window cleaner because it's decent money. I choose my own hours, and it puts money in my pocket, pays the bills, keeps the kids fed and watered. Get it? That's not quite the same as the sort of business that's going to approach us to scale to 10 million. And if you want to scale to 10 million, you've got to start talking to your team about what the mission is, what the goals are, what they need to check off to achieve that, how we're going to measure it, and give direction. Now, I thought of something this morning on my way in, and I'm very pissed off about it. We didn't have a May meeting. We didn't have a May team meeting.
Did we not?
First time we've missed a team meeting in 4 years.
When did we have?
Because I went on the 1st of May, got back on the 17th, and we've definitely not had one since I've been back.
When did we have the Beefy Boys? Was that April?
We had Beefy Boys.
Yeah, we ordered Beefy Boys in for the last meeting.
Who did?
Okay, we did.
I've not had a Beefy Boys.
Yeah, we did. You had peanut and jelly.
Yeah, that was April.
Was it? But you can remember having a Beefy Boys now.
Thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, because I nearly died after it because I was so full.
Yeah, that was April.
Yeah, okay. So, oh dear, that's not good.
Yeah, it's a leadership issue. I'm pissed off with myself. But, well, I also then checked and there's none in the diary forever now, so it needs sorting. But how do you keep the team on direction, focused, on mission? You have regular catch-ups and fucking talk about it.
Yeah, I would say after our monthlies, quarterlies, I'm always like buzzed. Realigned, yeah. But going into it, I'd always be like, oh, I wish I could just do client work for the whole day.
Yeah, and I guess what happens, you just stay at the same level if you do that.
Yeah.
And
you have to be so strict
I
with it.
really struggle with it. Like, I've come from working for myself to having one employee to now having a team. And like yesterday felt really unproductive, but I did loads of strategic work and loads of thinking and got loads of ducks in a row, but I didn't do any busy work. And so I went home not feeling that tired and then was like, oh, that's a lazy day. But it wasn't. But it's and like I dealt with something quite big with a client that's been annoying us and sorted it out. But you can feel sometimes like it's been unproductive.
Yeah.
But then when you remember what the mission is, did it contribute to the mission? Yes. Well, that's way more important. Me sat in there tidying up Dropbox might make me feel busy and good. Does it contribute to the mission? Probably not. Not me doing it. So it helps me have clarity to know what the mission is. It helps me communicate to you guys because, let's say, a client decides to leave. I need to inform you how that impacts the mission. And if we don't hit the mission, we don't get what we want.
It's good as well for like purpose, for like not just think you're coming in every day. I come in, I go to work, I go home. It's like, no, we're actually pushing towards something that's bigger than.
Yeah, I saw something yesterday. It was called the Psychopath Life Coach.
Who is it?
I don't know. I've not seen him. It's called Lewis. It's weird because we know a few psychopath coaches called Lewis. Oh dear. Not that. Actually, I do know. Wow, that's interesting because I was thinking of a different Lewis to the Lewis you're thinking of. There's a Lewis I like and a Lewis I don't like, and I'll leave that there.
There's many Lewises.
Yeah, and there's lots of Lewises in the world. My brother's best friend was called Lewis. Loads of Lewises.
Lewis is one of those names that if you say it over and over again, it doesn't sound like a word.
The S is weird on the end.
And there's loads of weird ways to spell it as well, isn't there?
No.
Yeah. O-U or W?
O-U. As in
Lois.
L-O-U-I-S.
Yeah.
Well, they all need to know that they're called Louis.
Okay, well.
But I have seen people spell Lewis like that.
Whatever the hell you want.
Well, yeah.
And say it's pronounced.
Don't tell me how to say my own name. Okay. Fair enough. Sorry, Louis. Yeah, but.
So tell me about the Psychopath Coach. Was it good? How did you watch it? Netflix or?
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix yesterday when I was having that really productive day. That's the beauty of having multiple screens. But actually, my coach told me to watch it. and some of it was amazing and some of it was terrifying. And it was about a life coach who's got some psychopathic tendencies, some of the horrible things he'd done, and some of the good things he'd done. But there was definitely a bit of not ego, maybe ego, but certainly the positioning was quite guru-esque in the sense that I think there was over 10 people in the program had decided to get the program's logo tattooed on themselves.
Ooh, that feels very culty.
It's a lot, innit?
What is the logo?
Just like
Stickman.
very, like, it was like diamonds within diamonds, so quite like Illuminati-ish. But it's quite a cool logo, like. But yeah,
I guess if that's your style, you could have something similar tattooed on you without knowing.
I'm not suggesting anyone gets a Codebreak logo. That's fucking bananas. But
I know loads of people who have lightning bolts though.
Yeah, to be honest, if I extend this, there'll be lightning involved in it for that reason. But our doorbell's about to go. It's going to piss me right off. I've just seen the postman reverse back to the door. So, Jack, you can edit this out. But yeah, getting really clear on the mission. So, like, what are we working hard towards? What are we making sure we're all pulling in the same direction? Getting rid of unclear leadership. So if something happens in the business that doesn't point towards the mission, get rid of it, because you're not a charity. And like, sometimes you can be so busy being nice, thinking, oh, this might help. It clouds the vision, and it confuses your employees. It confuses you.
Clients.
Takes you off track. Confuses clients. Yeah. Why are you working with them? They don't seem like a good fit. They don't look like me. I thought you worked with people like me. Oh, fuck, the mission's falling apart.
How often should you revisit your mission? Or is it less on a time basis and more on a achievement?
I work hard on this personally and business-wise because I'm always 5 years ahead in my head and on paper. And then I'm always revisiting that to make sure I'm always 5 years on. But I try not to live in dreamland at the same time. Yeah, you got to stay present, but you got to know what direction you're pointing in. So, like, for example, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, taking the team to Orlando has been in my vision for a long time. I think you've heard me say it since you started here.
Yeah, it was on a poster a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and nobody really bought into it to start. Like, well, obviously you did, and you're still here.
The only one.
Yeah, but I think people were like, he's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. On a selfish level, the biggest kick I get out of business is seeing everybody else succeed. Because if I succeed, I expect it of myself, so there's no reward. But if you succeed, or the business succeeds, or Ethan or Jack or Scott or Neil get something great from it, that, like, totally selfishly, and I'm not ashamed of that, makes me feel good. So when I'm like, I'm going to take the whole team to Orlando, I'm aware that the optics of that are fucking great. I'm not an idiot. Like, we're a marketing company. It's going to make us look cool. It makes it easier for us to recruit. Also cool. But the biggest kick for me will be, like, you guys knowing I worked hard and earned this.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, I guess, like, in like a not business sense, people do this with, like, their holidays. It's like, I've worked really hard and I've got something that I'm looking forward to, regardless of, because we had a conversation, didn't we, about how, like, there's always a kickback. Like, something amazing happens, there's always going to be a
rebalance.
A rebalance that's a bit shit. And if you don't have those things, but it's very unusual. Like, I mean, I've never worked for a business. I don't know anybody, any of my friends who work for a business that are going to Orlando with a team. Also, weirdly, I've actually just put this together in my head. That Orlando you have spoken about before. I've been here 4 years, maybe like early on. Do you think you kind of manifested Neil? Yeah. So Neil wasn't even living in Orlando.
Neil lived in New York. never said about moving to Florida ever, and then moved to Florida, and so did his wife's family. So it was like, what? And I said about taking the team to Orlando long before the Neil business relationship was ever on the cards. But when you're on mission, things start to align.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in like a woo-woo sense, but things happen to make those things that you've repeated to yourself and pointed towards and worked hard for start to unfold. But you do have to go through periods of massive discomfort to see that happen. And most people don't get through the period of discomfort.
Yeah.
Like it's not a sob story, but I've been through some shit to make this business happen.
Have there been times when you've been like, can't be off?
Nearly every day. But like, yeah, certainly business takeover time last year was hard because I was in business with one of my best friends. We were pulling in separate directions in not just business, in life, and we didn't want to fall out, and the business was tanking because of it.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard to emotionally. I know I've got stuff going on, got a father in hospital and mum looking after a grandmother with dementia and all these different things you're balancing away from it. A wife about to have an operation. It's tough. Like, business is fucking hard. But when you've got a mission, like any mission is hard. Going to the moon was fucking hard. Like, they would have had to overcome so much shit. People died for that mission. Like, I think when you want to achieve something that not many people achieve, expect it to be fucking difficult.
So your mission should be not something you feel like you could achieve right now. It's got to be.
Yeah, and like, you've sat in one-to-ones with me where I've said to you, Mark, look, I'm never going to give you an easy time working here. Like, get it in your head. This is going to be fucking hard, but it's going to be rewarding. And you get that. We've had other staff members I've spoken to like that who've resigned.
Literally.
Yeah.
We've had like a meeting about the mission and they were like, it's not for me, which is fine.
Yeah.
Also.
And that's okay. But if you're not communicating the mission, those people will cling on and drag the team down. Not because they're bad people or they're not good at what they do, but they're not pointing in the same direction as you.
Yeah.
You see it in sport, you see it in everything. And I think, like, you've got to just keep drumming it home. And, like, we're in a transition period at the moment. So Scott, our marketing manager's moving on to pastures new. That's cool. Wish him the best of luck. It's a good move for him and his family. We're recruiting. I'm speaking to the recruiter today. Better check my watch, actually.
Yeah, that is tight. Is it not 11:30?
Is it?
Yeah.
You want to check for me?
Yeah. How do I... Can you talk for 3 seconds while I go get my laptop?
No, that's right. Let's carry on.
I'm pretty sure it was 11:30.
I think it's 12.
I'll message Ethan.
We're going to have to edit this podcast now because you and I are talking absolute shite. But I'm going to go check.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will continue on about. This better be 11:30 now, otherwise I'm in shit. Is it? Okay, fine. Sorry. But if it was 11:30, you would have been happy.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I wouldn't have been 5 minutes late. Back in the game. So, yeah, you've got to just keep, like, reinforcing it. And we're going through this transition period. New staff coming in, still getting the 2 assistants up to speed. You've just been promoted. I've got to get some meetings in with the team and start reinforcing the mission. This is what's happening. This is how it's going to happen. These are the steps we need to take. This is why it's important those boxes go out. This is why it's important those landing pages get built. This is why it's important those ads run. This is why it's important that you edit those testimonial videos. This is what's going on tomorrow. This is what we're going to do as a team next month. This is when the next quarterly is. For example, June is meant to be a quarterly meeting. So that needs to go in the diary. That's a full day. That's going to be tough to get in, but...
Is it worth waiting till...
You just won't be in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that, and then you'll see a dramatic impact on marketing when you all get aligned on the mission.
Yeah. Because ultimately, marketing is about connection, right? With your customers, with your team, clients, whatever. And we always talk about like the metrics are so important. The metrics, they are so important. But the overall mission is connection with your team being aligned. Like if you are scaling your business, there's only so much you can do, right? And then so there's always a point where you're like, and I'm going to have to pass you over to Our Lady in Accounts, or I'm going to have to pass you over to the designer or your account manager. And if you're not beating the same drum, you're going to fall into the trap of clients just fall through the leaky bucket because they've bought into Joel Stone, but they've now got Martha Dale and they're not aligned and they're not shooting in the same direction. And so I wonder how many business owners do you know that do like the monthlies, the quarterlies? Is it something that's encouraged in the masterminds you're in?
All the good business owners I know regularly speak to their teams. Yeah. Yeah. Like so weekly scrums, monthly meetings, quarterly meetings, annual meetings.
See, the weekly scrums, I imagine a lot of people have Monday meetings or whatever you call it. I still feel like that's very much like in the doing and not.
Yeah. But there should be, and maybe that's on me, but there should be comms that come into that meeting that realign us each week, keep us on track. Which maybe there isn't enough of that in ours.
Maybe it's just how I'm...
Just something every time to be like, remember, this is what's important this week.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we can definitely get better at it. And like we have daily stand-ups as well, which I'm not involved in, but that'll carry on when Scott goes. It's important, like just double-checking what everyone's up to and if they've got any challenges, do they need any support? And I think... otherwise, you can go so far down a certain path and realise that you're in the wrong direction.
What point, so since I've been at Cobra, there was always monthlies. Was there always?
No. So it used to be more ad hoc. We didn't have weeklies or monthlies.
Just kind of when you felt like things were falling.
Yeah, and like, because Cobra was like a combination of two companies. So there was Andy's company who had several staff and my company who only had 2 staff. We didn't need to have those formalised meetings in my company because we were small. We were talking to each other all the time, pointing each other in the right direction all the time. Andy's company had more, and then when we merged, we had to have lots of meetings to get used to how each other worked. And yeah, I mean, well, none of those people are here now, so it's like...
So what if like somebody's listening to this and maybe they do have monthlies or weekly meetings, but what would be your like top tips for them to... Well, I guess number one would be if you don't have a mission, have one.
Yeah.
And make it clear, like clear steps.
And like a why behind it. Start, like Simon Sinek, start with why. Why do we do what we do? What's the outcome of this? Because you can be really like directionless otherwise, like personally and like as the owner, personally and with the business. So like I'm in that transition phase at the moment. I've got a relatively nice house. My wife's currently out of work looking for a job, but we're sort of comfortable. So it's like, right, I need to realign myself to like what's going to make me go again.
Well, every successful person who's written a book says like, I thought when I had the first million I'd be happy, and then I just wanted the next million and the next million and the next million, because there's no purpose behind how many zeros are in your bank account.
Exactly. Where like for me, a massive bucket list thing for me was to take Hannah to Borneo. I've done that now, so I'm having a bit of a lull looking at my personal mission and my personal why. And I said to her, we need to get it booked sooner rather than later so that I've got it to point at. But then there's also like, where in the world do I want to live? What kind of man do I want to be? Like, what kind of husband do I want to be? What kind of boss do I want to be? So there's all that personal mission. And then there's, how does that realign me and reflect in how I approach the next challenge in Codebreak, which we found, I think, the level we're at now, different kinds of shit gets thrown at us. And I'm having to learn how to navigate that for the first time. And I know that when we get to the next tier, I have to learn how to navigate that too. But that's all part of the journey to the mission.
Well, someone said to you once, didn't they, like, you hit a certain level in business and you're always in a legal battle.
Yeah, so yeah, someone did say to me, if you're not in a legal battle, your business isn't at the level you think it is. And I was like, well, why would I have been a legal battle? I always pay my bills, like we deliver a good service. And then quite recently, someone who'd had great service from us fucking recharged it back on their credit card. Didn't see that coming at all. And it like, you're like, well, shit, I can't just roll over and take that.
Yeah.
And you end up in a pickle. Then another situation occurred where someone who'd had a winding up order didn't tell us. And when you've got a winding up order, you're not allowed to pay out to other companies. But because they hadn't told us, we were getting paid out to doing the work. And now the liquidators demanded the money back. Well, there's another fucking legal situation we're in, neither of which are our fault. But that's what happens when you're dealing with a volume of different people. It's not like we qualify our clients, but I can't fucking
Look inside their head.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have a head turn and do something insane. But there's things I've thought about since that we would put in place that we didn't have to have before. So like Experian credit checks on all new clients. It's going to cost us money. But it's like, well, do I want to work with someone who's gone bust twice and has no credit history? Probably not. I could do without the headache of that. So let's fucking get that in place. 2 years ago, that wasn't on my radar at all. But it's all part of the mission. Like, you're going to encounter obstacles and you need to build resilience, basically.
And have your one, like,
Yeah.
North Star. This is my focus. This is where I'm going.
If the world changes and your mission changes, that's fine, but you need to fucking communicate it well. And you need to make sure it doesn't deflate everybody who
was bought into the last mission.
Yeah, like we've obviously had to adjust, but I've always been clear that this company's going to get to 2 million and then we'll go again. And I've always been clear that when we hit certain metrics, I'll take you all to Orlando. And I've never strayed from that, no matter how stressful or horrendous. And one of them's done. So, fucking hell.
4 months. That's wild.